we've carved out a little space for the Rainier Avenue Metro Player of the Week gets to come on. We're honored to have that distinction come on our show. Pat,
Mhm.
and so and I think it's just an honor for us. So we're gonna bring on Marcus Merkelbach and his coach and Mr. Reggie Witherspoon Jr. Absolutely, and you've got somebody with you, obviously, who had a pretty good week last week. Can you tell us about how Marcus performed? And
Oh my goodness, where did I start? I call him my kicker, the best kicker in Washington State. Is what I always allude to when I talk to this guy. Marcus is a special kid. He's not just a kicker; he's also a great teammate. He's a tough guy, as we know. He can punt and he can place kick, which usually you don't get to do both. But his skill set allows him to be able to do both for us, and he's made a great name for himself on our roster. He's turning college's attention towards his way, and he's consistent, and I think that's what really helps us a lot. And we get those balls down into the end zone or inside the 5 yard line. That's great field position for us to start off with in terms of defense. And so he's an intricate part of our success so far.
Marcus, welcome to the show and congratulations.
It's an
And why place kicking? Because to Coach's comment, everybody understands the importance of special teams and in college, and we see it in terms of you know the pros. But here you are in high school. How did you get to? Hey, I want to place kick, and what other positions do you play or don't play?
Yeah, well, originally I was like a soccer player for most of my life before high school, and I don't know. I watched a lot of football, and I was always like, I wonder if I could do that. There was something I started doing. Uh, I don't know. I just really enjoy doing it because I feel like it's really rewarding because I set goals for myself. Like every time I'm going, I was like every day it improve like each day, and I feel like rewarding the team contributing. Uh, really good. Yeah.
Breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit, so sorry if we
Oh,
have to ask you the question again. It's not
fine,
it's not
sure.
you. It's okay. It's the bad line. I mean, you're fine and very well articulated. So last week, did you see Justin Tucker?
I did. I was big on that 66 yarder. It's crazy how good these guys are getting every year.
But hey, Marcus, how far can you kick it? Because
Well,
I saw Coach line you up for, I think it was 54 yards. Is that right?
my in-game long last year was a 46 yarder, I believe, against Blaine.
Okay.
But in practice, my long is about 60 yards. So I feel comfortable hitting anywhere inside that.
Wow.
Hey, Marcus, the thing with that position, the balance of strength, right, and also the flexibility. How do you balance those two in terms of you being efficient in terms of executing, like you said, a 60-yard in practice and then also in the game?
Well, the biggest thing is like I always, whether I'm kicking an extra point or a 55-yard field goal, I always try to do the exact same kick. It's all about because even though an extra point is 20 yards and whatever, I could go easy. It's about repetition and doing the exact same thing every time, the same routine, and treating every kick the same. And I feel like when I do that, I get a lot of I start going through my routine, take my steps, like I don't know, I nod my head and do all that stuff, and I feel like I get a lot of confidence from repetition, and because of that, I feel like it allows me to execute on the field.
Who's your holder and your snapper? Because them two are kind of a big
Mhm.
part of the team,
Good
right?
point, Maz.
Yeah. Well, a big thing for me this year was last year my holder. He was a senior and he was very good, but it was my last year with him. So this year I had to find a new guy to do it. And it's actually right now it's Troy. He's number 7. He's our linebacker as well. I joke with him. I say he's the biggest holder in Metro, but he's good at what he does. And yeah, and my long snapper is Rolly Canali. He's a wide receiver. And I work with them a lot. You gotta have like a close bond with those guys because I don't know. I'm relying on them to do their job so I can do mine, and It's really good though. We have a great operation right now, and we're really just doing our job, and it's good.
Hey, coach, in the other higher levels, colleges, and also in the pro, the kicker and the punter get to go off on the side, but obviously, the wide receiver and linebacker. How much time do they spend together, the three of them, or and how much?
Absolutely, that's a great question, and that's something that has been difficult at times to do because of what you just said. We got linebackers, and they're both starters for us, as a matter of fact, in their respective positions. And so every now and again, or more often than not, Merkelbach comes to me in the middle of practice. Hey, coach, can I grab Rolly and Troy? We need to work on some snaps. Doesn't matter where we're at in practice. Merkelbach has a green light to do what he wants. that's my guy. So I'm Merkelbach now. You want him now? And so for the most part, I try to make sure we get that time in. But we're going to actually spend more time doing that so Merkelbach is comfortable because, like he said, the last placeholder he had last 4 years was excellent. I mean, straight excellent. He graduated last year. So I sense the stress on Merkelbach's face when they coach, who's going to be the holder? And I said, we should probably find our guy a holder. So we think we got one. He's been doing his job pretty well for him.
Hey, Marcus, I'm going to call you that because I don't, you and coach have your own, but what does it do to have the confidence of that coach? You know what I'm saying? Know that you've got the green light and he's supporting that and he understands the value. What does that do to you in terms of your mindset and put you at ease?
Well, it really means a lot because, I feel like in high school, a lot of coaches don't understand the importance of special teams and how much of an impact they can have on the game. And with Coach Spoon, I don't know, he's been really supportive of everything we've done. And it feels like really rewarding to have a coach have that much confidence in you and trust and to acknowledge what you're doing is important and working on it. And I really think, I don't know, I don't think I'd be able to do what I could do if I didn't have a coach who had a faith and in me like Coach Spoon does.
And Pat, it's interesting that Coach Spoon has a wide receiver as the holder, right? So
Hands, baby. Hands.
right? And he probably can. I'm not giving out no secrets, but he probably, if need be, late in the state playoffs,
Yes,
national
maybe.
championship on ESPN, you might, right, Coach?
Coach Spoon's up to it. That's for sure. Hey, Marcus.
Absolutely. I've got.
No, go ahead, Coach.
Oh no, I was gonna say absolutely. I like to keep some tricks in our bag of tricks. Keep them handy just in case we need them at all ever. And I'm always thinking long term. I said at some point we're gonna need this and that. So let's hold on to it until it's time.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus. Hey, how many? Give the listeners an idea how many times you punt the ball or kick the ball during practice.
I'd say a good number for me is, I don't know, I like to do around today's the day before a game, for instance. So Thursdays, it's normally just pretty easy, probably 15 overall kicks. But on a good day, about 35 to 40 kicks in general, whether that's field goals, kickoffs, or punts. And I like to spend Monday I'll focus individually on punts. Tuesday will be kickoffs, and then Wednesday will be field goals.
Oh.
And then Thursday, if I feel I need to work on something, I'll maybe focus on that. But in general, I like to focus on one aspect each day, and then do a lot of that.
And do you do a lot of stretching and so forth with your legs?
Yeah, well, being a kicker and practice being as long as they are, I can't spend the entire time just kicking. So yeah, I spend a lot of time stretching, and it's been really good for me because I remember when I was a freshman, sophomore, I would just air kick once and be okay, I'm good to go, and I would have a lot of nagging knee issues as a result of that. So I've been stretching a lot more recently and really putting a greater emphasis on that in the past couple of years, and that's really paid a lot of dividends for me. And I feel like I'm a lot more, when I'm more flexible, I feel like I can hit it better and I'm more consistent and just feel more confident in the field.
And can you see yourself improve?
And Merkelbach.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always trying to figure out what I can do better, what I need to work on. Even I don't know, even if I have a great game, I'll be the week. Well, I'll enjoy it for the weekend, but then come Monday morning, I'll watch the film and be like, oh, I need to do that or whatever. And I feel like that's a good thing because I can sort of self-diagnose what I'm doing wrong at all times, even if I'm doing well, what I can improve on. And I feel like that's something that's really good for me for kicking.
In your craft, how important is it to analyze film like you're saying, but don't overanalyze it and forget your last kick? Like we saw with Jason Myers for the Seahawks, 26, and then he misses, but then forgets about it. And how important is that to balance all those three?
Well, in a game, the biggest thing is I always try to say the most important kick is the next one, because during a game, I could do something like mess something up, and the biggest thing is just moving on towards the next thing, because in that moment, I'm not gonna suddenly get much better by focusing on what I did wrong. So I'm just trying to be like, okay, I messed up. I just got to be ready for the next one, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna make mistakes. It is what it is. It's about how I respond to them. And that's gonna matter.
That sounds like coach speak right there. That's some leadership and high performance.
Hey,
Baseline.
he's drilled it into me. Yeah.
Yes. I want to add too, real quick. The reason why
Please.
Merkelbach gets 35 to 40 kicks in practice. He's the only kicker probably in Metro. I'm willing to bet that I allow him to just kick wherever, anytime. We can be a team, Pat, and I hear balls flying over our head. It's Merkelbach setting up his team somewhere, kicking field goals, and I love it. It's correct.
Mhm.
I tell my coaches and players, leave my kicker alone. He's got the green light to put the tee where he wants to put it, because I know for a fact that's part of his process, and that's part of his regimen to get better, and that's why he's able to make 45, 50-yard field goals and that sort of thing. So, Merkelbach, keep up the good work, my man.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Marcus, I got one more question for you. So, do you have it figured out how to do the onside kick and make it bounce just right?
I do. I've been working on it a lot. I don't want to give anything away.
No.
Games.
You're working on
But
it.
yeah, there's a certain way you want to kick certain things so it pops up at the right time, and you might see some of that later in the season. We'll see. Who knows?
It's hard to do, though, right?
It is. It's really like a feel thing. Like once you get a feel for it and just working on that, and but yeah, it's really rewarding when you do it right and get it recovered.
Got this question. I see if I can phrase this right, because the answer is actually, I haven't been a golfer in a while. Is there any end that you prefer kicking to when you're practicing your field goals, or is it that you try not to have a favorite end because it'll mess up your psyche?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is there's always the south end is always into the wind and the north end is downwind. But in general, I always try to hit into the wind, because I don't want to. I don't know. It's if you're hitting into the wind, it's a little harder. And in general, I don't want to. I want to make practice as hard as possible on myself. So in game, it'll feel easier, I guess. And it's similar like with the hashes. Like I don't have a favorite hash like left or right, because at the end of the day, it's always a straight kick. Like aim down the middle of the uprights and you hit it straight, and it'll be in. So yeah, I just try to kick wherever the ball is. I just try to kick it.
Coach, you know what? Everything he's saying is the reason why you're 4-0. I mean, all of that
Yes, sir.
about I'm going to make practice real difficult and all of that. Can
Right.
you just talk about how the rest of your team, and we got just a couple of minutes. Just want to give you that opportunity as well, because he's exceptional, and you have other exceptional athletes on your team.